We're all chasing this idea of balance in our lives, right? Trying to find that perfect, calm, stable state of health. But what if we're chasing a ghost? Today, we're going to dig into a really different idea, that true health isn't about being still at all. It's about a hidden dynamic rhythm that's happening inside you right now. So just think about this for a second. What if health isn't some destination you arrive at, but a dance? A continuous, flowing movement that our bodies are performing every single moment of every day. If that's true, and I think it is, it completely changes how we should think about wellness. And to get it, we need to start with a concept we all probably learned back in school. So, to really understand this new idea of health as a dance, we first have to break down the old idea, the one we all picked up in biology class, this myth that health is all about achieving perfect stillness. And that concept? It's called homeostasis. It's the body's incredible, almost magical ability to keep your internal environment stable, no matter what's going on outside. And look, there's a reason they call it the quiet genius of biology. It is absolutely fundamental to our survival. And we see this in action all the time, right? Step out into the cold, you start to shiver. That's your body generating heat. When you get too hot, you sweat to cool down. Every single time you eat a meal, your body is meticulously managing your blood sugar. All of this is homeostasis, this amazing system that's constantly pulling you back to a stable, predictable baseline. But here's the puzzle. If the ultimate goal is just stability, like a perfectly still pond, then why is everything about life defined by constant motion, change, and adaptation? That's the one question that homeostasis, by itself, just can't quite answer. And that little puzzle leads us to a much bigger, more complete picture. Let's call it balance in motion. This chart right here makes the whole shift crystal clear. Over on the left, you've got homeostasis. It's all about stability. It's a destination, a fixed point. Think of it as a noun, having balance. But on the right, you've got this new idea, homeodynamics, and it's all about adaptability. It's a living rhythm. It's a verb, the constant act of balancing. Our bodies aren't just trying to hold steady, they're in a perpetual active flow. This quote just nails it. Real health isn't about building a fortress to avoid every possible problem. It's about having the flexibility to recover, to reorganize, and to actually come back stronger because you were challenged. It's a huge shift from being rigid to being adaptable. And once you start looking, you see this rhythm everywhere. Believe it or not, a super healthy heart doesn't beat like a metronome. Its rhythm actually changes slightly with every breath you take, and that variability is a key sign of resilience. Your immune system has its own cycles of high alert and then standing down. Your brain is constantly shifting between intense focus and periods of rest. This isn't a bug in the system. This motion is the very signature of a healthy, thriving body. So, what's actually driving this constant rhythm? Well, to get that, we need to look at a fundamental push and pull that's happening at the very core of our biology. It all comes down to metabolism, which really has two faces, two sides of the same coin. You've got anabolism, that's the building up phase, repairing tissues, storing energy, creating order. Then you have catabolism, the breaking down phase, releasing energy, clearing out old stuff, generating movement. The key thing to get here is that one isn't good and the other bad. They are a team. They're two halves of a cycle that life absolutely depends on. And guess what? That exact same duality applies to stress and recovery. Stress, whether it's from a workout or just a tough day at work, temporarily increases disorder in your system. Recovery is the part of the cycle that restores order. It's only when you have both dancing together in a continuous rhythm that you actually build real, lasting resilience. This leads us to a really powerful, maybe even counterintuitive idea about a word we've all been taught to fear. And that is, stress is not the enemy. This right here might be the most important takeaway of all. Stress itself isn't the problem. The real problem is chronic, unmanaged stress, the kind of stress that never gets balanced out with real recovery. It's not the challenge itself that wears us down, it's the complete lack of renewal afterward. So let's look at how growth actually happens. It always starts with a challenge, a tough workout, a difficult project. That challenge causes a little disruption, right? Think of muscle soreness or mental fatigue. But then comes the most important part, recovery. You rest, you refuel, and your body repairs itself. And the result? Adaptation. You literally come back stronger and more resilient than you were before. And this isn't just for the gym. This is the formula for all growth in life. Okay, so if health is this constant act of balancing, not a fixed destination, what does that mean for us? It means something pretty empowering. Health isn't just something you have, it's a skill you can actually practice and get better at.
So, how do we actually practice this skill of balancing? Well, first, we've got to stop chasing perfection. Real strength isn't built in the easy times, it's built in the recovery after the hard times. Next, instead of fighting the natural ups and downs, we need to learn to ride the waves of life. That means we have to reframe setbacks. They're not failures, they are simply signals from your body telling you it's time to adjust. Ultimately, it all boils down to honoring the full cycle. Lean into the exertion, but then, just as importantly, create real space for rest. That's where the magic of resilience happens.
And when you really get this, it changes everything. Life stops feeling like a battle you have to endure and starts to feel like a rhythm you can embrace. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. In your own life, right now, where are you resisting the wave? Where are you pushing for constant stress without recovery? Or maybe you're searching for a perfect stillness that just doesn't exist. What would it look like? What would it feel like to stop resisting and to finally start living in rhythm?